The back page of the Daily Nation. This job is not for the faint-hearted, says Chief Justice David Maraga. Maraga backs court's pledges to act independently in veiled response to Tuju's letter. Now, of course, last week, matters to do with the judiciary came to the fore. They were the biggest headlines. Even what was happening with the executive and the fact that the president decided to reshuffle his legal advisors with the exit of the Attorney General. That letter to the CJ by Raphael Tuju, the Secretary General of Jubilee Party, also said a lot. And all this happening within 1 week. When the lawyers were still donning this yellow ribbon, said a lot about Kenya's judiciary and the legal fraternity. Of course, the elections for the LSK coming up this week as well, something big also. So there's a lot happening in the legal fraternity to do with the lawyers and the judiciary as well. But now this job is not for the faint-hearted. We've had these discussions that, and these are just rumors, that probably even the AG's exit from that position is probably just the beginning of a longer script, that probably we are looking at someone is looking forward to replacing, having CJ Maraga replaced from that position. Bwana Nelson, have you heard that rumor?
No, it's not rumor, it's fact. You can take it from me because I'm in the habit of disseminating facts, not opinions. The fact of the matter is this. There's an elaborate scheme to kick Maraga out of the office of the Chief Justice. Yes. And all these things you've seen, like the rearrangement of the Judicial Service Commission, the resignation of Githu Muigai, the purported appointment of a Court of Appeal judge as an Attorney General. But I think we won't sit down and cry. In fact, I will tell Chief Justice Maraga to stay put. We'll be here to maintain the rule of law and order. Let him do what he does best, because we know him as an accomplished lawyer. He's an accomplished judge. He's a man of fortitude. He's a virtuous man. He's up to the job. In fact, there is nobody else who will have been better placed to be at the helm of this leadership than Maraga is right now. And we have seen, look at the condescending letter that was written by Raphael Tuju. Somebody, I really don't know even his level of schooling. Where does he get the audacity of writing the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya? Now, that is the height of impunity. That is where Jubilee has taken us. And we have a situation whereby we don't have a functional DP, we don't have an AG, we don't have a Solicitor General. Where is the president getting his advice from? Mechanics and journalists? And it looks like he's reading a lot of...
Is there something wrong about journalists advising the president? That's what I'll need you to answer.
No, don't take profound umbrage with that. I think he's taking advice from people like Mutai Ngunyi, you understand, who claim to be professors. But I don't know where the professorship was granted. But look, when all is said and done, a leader needs to surround himself with able people. You understand? Of course, the king can have Nikampums around him to jest and make him happy. But at the tail end of your discourse as a leader, you need credible advisors who will tell you, look, this is wrong, this is right. But we are in a radarless society. And let's just look at what is happening now in the judiciary. We have individuals who are hell-bent on not obeying court orders. And when asked, what do they say? The order was not served. Served where? And the more reason as to why we need a very committed judiciary. And right now, I think we're in the right path. Because imagine if these guys had control of the judiciary, the way they have control of the legislature.
Well, CJ David Maraga says this job is not for the faint-hearted. Bwana Vincent Kimosop, do you agree with Bwana Harvey that all these things happening around the judiciary and the legal fraternity are not in isolation, that probably it's just something, so many different scripts working towards a much bigger one?
Allow me to say something about what my brother said, Nelson. I think I agree with him on one thing, that we need to build a country of the rule of law. And by the way, when we passed the Constitution 2010, that is governing this country, one of the things that we may not agree with the contents and the substance of Raphael Tuju's letter, but one thing that the Constitution gives Tuju is the right to petition public office. So you may not agree with the substance, the how, but one thing we have to also courageously admit is that he has petitioned a public office. Now, the only challenge would be the position and the stature that he has in society that might send wrong signals. But petitioning public office is a constitutional right that is provided for. And I think it is important that when we look at where we are at, an independent judiciary benefits everybody, irrespective of your political affiliation, because the last bastion or custodian of the constitution, in my view, is actually the judiciary, because some decisions, we may not be comfortable with them, but we all need to support the CJ Maraga in asserting the independence and the authority. He actually wrote back pointing out that they will make decisions based on the facts. So one of the questions would be, is that who is representing you, who is not ensuring that the judiciary is served with the right facts to arrive at the right decision. Okay. So I think I would also say that it is important that we respect all professions. I believe truly that this is on a light touch, that we celebrate Ndimuli as a journalist.
Even journalists can advise the president.
Today we are here.
More than just legal advice.
And you also realize that society is not just governed by the law. There is also common sense. Anyway, those are my humble submissions.
And in all this, NASA seems quiet because yes, and it has been on the headlines that yes, the judiciary appears to be under siege. If at all there was an institution that was supposed to actually help protect the independence of the judiciary and any other independent institutions, it is the opposition. Why is NASA silent when all these things is happening to the judiciary? You appear more engrossed in the internal wrangling.
I don't know why you said you want to conclude in that manner. Firstly, NASA is not quiet. We're actually very loud insofar as the defense of the judiciary is concerned. And again, we all agreed that the country needs an independent and functioning judiciary, because that is the only institution that everyone would run to for refuge. I have personally been a beneficiary of the judiciary in instances in the past. Remember when I was chased away from Parliament in 2016, it's the judiciary that took me back to Parliament. Much earlier, 1997, I got reprieve from the judiciary. But then the most important thing is that Kenyans must resist the latest attempts by the Jubilee to capture the judiciary. Because if they succeed in doing so, then the country will be actually in for a rough ride. And the letter you see that has been written by one Tuju should not be treated lightly. Firstly, of course, Tuju is simply but a mouthpiece. It's not Tuju who is speaking. Yes, it is his masters who are speaking through that letter. And the Kenyans must take that letter very, very seriously, because it is a direct affront to the independence of the judiciary. And as we speak again, the judiciary is the only institution that has actually remained firm in the defense of and the upholding of the human rights and in the defense of the constitution that many Kenyans fought for very vigorously. Okay. So I think we agreed that we must support Chief Justice David Maraga and his colleagues in the judiciary.
And finally, on this issue, Bwana Caleb Kositaji, Jubilee has come under a lot of criticism about its treatment, its statements and pronouncements with regard to the judiciary, the fact that we will revisit this, the fact that now that letter by Raphael Tuju accusing the judiciary of bias. At this time, when Jubilee has already taken over and you've already formed cabinet, you seem
We've
to
not
be,
taken over, actually, we are continuing.
Yes, officially taken over, the cabinet is formed. Is it really necessary to appear or to even be seen to be going after the judiciary at this point?
You see, Fred, Jubilee is the ruling government. It's the ones that has formed the government. We have to work with all arms of government, and we have to tell each other the truth. If I see you going astray, I have to let you know that no, that is not the point, the right route to take. And for your information, Tuju is my boss in the party. I'm the deputy secretary. I'm his deputy in the Jubilee party. I sit as the deputy secretary general. So for Akili here to try and say he doesn't know where Tuju went to school, Tuju is a man who has been around for a while, and he's one of the best performing MPs who was never re-elected. We remember when he was MP for Rarieda. But all said and done, we also want to advise the Chief Justice that has the father of the judicial system. Let him treat all people who come under him equally. If Jubilee make an error, let him make his comments based on that carefully and freely against criticizing Jubilee. And if NASA make a mistake and also fail to abide by court orders, let him also come out. He's gone silent since he made a ruling that the elections of the 10th of October were free and fair and were properly conducted.
You guys need
he
to
has
move
not.
on.
He has not castigated NASA.
Let's ask you one direct question.
Yes.
As Jubilee, are you looking to replace CJ Maraga?
No, we are not. We're not. We're just trying to tell him to try and read things from a different script, from a fair script.
So there's no attempt.
There's no attempt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nelson, Ali, you wanted to add something to that?
No. Of course, you see the way they always act. Alfred Kettel style. So they won't tell you what they're doing, but
These people are obsessed with Alfred Kettel.
Well, gentlemen, unfortunately, our time is up. Thank you so much, Nelson Harvey, lawyer, Caleb Kositanyi, MP Soi, Opio Andai, MP Ugunja, and of course, Vincent Kimoso, policy analyst, helping us look at the headlines this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, Power Breakfast still continues up until 9 a.m., and that's the hashtag to use up until that time. A lot more coming up. Joy Mubengi and Willis Waburu have a lot more in store for you, so do not go anywhere. My name is Freddie Ndimuli. Good morning.